and the partnership of SETC, Empowered for X, and the Dream Legacy Foundation, we're going to be helping more entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage get access to funding and help with their grant writing. Please visit our website, acbncanada.com, to learn more if you're an entrepreneur that's in need of funding or if you would love to support this organization. Hello, my name is Ryan Knight, the co-founder and executive director of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network Foundation. I am here excited to announce the new microloan program that we have put together. With the support of Alterna Savings Credit Union and the partnership of SETC, Empowered for X, and the Dream Legacy Foundation, we're going to be helping more entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage get access to funding and help with their grant writing. Please visit our website, acbncanada.com, to learn more if you're an entrepreneur that's in need of funding or if you would love to support this organization. Hello, my name is Ryan Knight, the co-founder and executive director of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network Foundation. I am here excited to announce the new microloan program that we have put together. With the support of Alterna Savings Credit Union and the partnership of SETC, Empowered for X, and the Dream Legacy Foundation, we're going to be helping more entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening from in the world. My name is Jacqueline Dixon, and you're tuned in to the Ordinary People Show. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things, and we're broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada, powered by Gbkm Tv. And I'm in studio this morning, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely pumped, because guess what? We got 3 more sleeps. 3 more sleeps to go before the big reveal as to who will be the next president of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a hot show ahead, but before we start with, of course, take care of my country, I always do. We want to thank the sponsor for this show today, which is New Era Communications. New Era Communications is a professional sales training platform dedicated to training entrepreneurs on the sales process. If you're an entrepreneur, also, ladies and gentlemen, New Era Communications is the yearly Meet the Symposium. This is the symposium dedicated to celebrating women in leadership. So, once again, I'm back in studio, and it is hot, hot, hot in here. Wait till you find out what we've got lined up for you today. For those of you who do not follow me on social media, today it's all about the USA. Our neighbors to the south, ladies and gentlemen, are kissing is what they call them. And we're going to be talking about the race of the president. The topic of today's show is called The Impact of Presidential Elections in Canada. I have with me panel members that will be interviewed right after our first commercial break, as well as our featured guest, Mr. Ed Unger, which is the co-chair of the Democrats Abroad Canada, and everybody is waiting in the wings to discuss what is going to happen next. I want you to join in on the discussion today, okay? So make sure if you're watching us on Facebook, which is Gbkm TV, or maybe you're watching us on our brand new Gbkm TV platform with our YouTube platform, comment, like, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. We want you to join in on the discussion today, because something tells me it's going to get pretty hot in this studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come right back and get started with the impact of the presidential elections on Canada.
Do you believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with an audience and have strong social media skills? If so, the Gbkm Network would love to invite you to join our team. We're looking for driven, genuine folks who are willing to work hard as an independent broadcaster. If this sounds like you, come join our team. For more information, email your resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, CAREER, at gbkm.fm. It's time to turn your passion into a career. Do you believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or
Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ordinary People Show. My name is Jacqueline Dixon. I'm your host, and I'm so happy that you're joining us today. I'm so happy to be back in studio. This is the second show on the return of the Ordinary People Show on Gbkm TV, and we're excited to have you join us. Please tell a friend, and make sure you tune in each and every Saturday right here, same time, same place, 12:30 to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. With no more further ado, we're going to get started with today. Let me introduce to you, first of all, my in-studio panel guest, which is a friend to Gbkm, a family member, I'd call him at this point in the game. He's my go-to guru on everything political, and he's known as DJ Jeff. Today, he's known as Celebrity DJ Jeff. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Jeff, to the Ordinary People Show.
Hey, thank you, Jackie.
Fantastic, thank you so much. And so he's going to be in studio with me, and the gloves are off. The gloves are off is all I can tell you, all right? And also waiting in the wings as a panel member today is none other than Joy Barnwell. Joy Barnwell is a coach, and she coaches individuals, executives in the corporate training arena, and she's here to provide a wealth of knowledge based on her interactions and her opinion on what is taking place in the state of the race for the office, the highest office in the land, the presidency of the United States. And of course,
thank you, Jackie.
You're so
Thank you,
welcome.
thank
Welcome
you.
to the Ordinary People Show, Joy. You excited?
Very excited. This is a unique
Okay.
opportunity. Wow.
Awesome.
I can feel the heat over here.
You can feel the heat? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, it's very hot in the studio right now. So, our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, that will also be taking part in today's discussion is our featured guest, and this is Mr. Ed Unger. Mr. Ed Unger is the co-chair of the executive vice co-chair of the Democrats Abroad Canada. And he is the one that is leading the charge along with his team on getting as many Americans living in Canada to vote and participate in this year's presidential elections. Good morning or good afternoon, Ed. How are you today?
Well, you say there's 3 more sleeps to the election. That's optimistic. You expect to sleep?
I don't expect that you've probably gotten any sleep over the last coming weeks, and I can imagine you're probably not going to sleep at all for the next 3 days, but we're going to try to get some sleep in, right, Jeff? We're going to try to get some sleep in. Our condolences to you.
Our sympathies.
Well, at least condolences about losing sleep, but not about losing the election.
Yeah, very true.
Absolutely.
Very true. So let me set the stage for today's discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Let me set the stage. So what we're going to be doing today, of course, the topic is the impact of the presidential elections on Canada. We being Canadians, of course, and being on this side of the border, we are impacted in a great way, in many, many ways, when it comes to presidential elections. The decisions that are made south of the border have a ripple effect that most often will travel right through Canada and on to the rest of the world. We are known as what you'd call kissing cousins. Many of us have family members who are living across the border. Many of us have even married individuals from both sides of the country. So we're very, very familiar with each other. We have a long history as two countries that reside on the same continent. And what happens in the U.S. affects what happens here in Canada. Would everybody on the panel agree with me with that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
But I'd like
Absolutely
to add to
true.
that. I'd like to,
Yep.
You want to add to that? Go ahead.
yes, and many of us living in Canada have U.S. citizenship, which means that you're entitled to vote in this election, or you were entitled to vote in this election if you haven't, and you are entitled to vote in future U.S. federal elections, including the next one for president.
Thank you so much. And let me tell people a little bit, let me give them a little bit of background on Democrats Abroad. For some of you that are tuning in today, you maybe the vast majority have never even heard of this organization called Democrats Abroad. I'm going to tell you a little bit of information about them so to familiarize yourself. Democrats Abroad Canada is the official country committee of the DPCA for the U.S. Democrats living in Canada. They are 100% volunteer, self-funded organization helping American citizens vote in the U.S. elections through voter registration and keeping Americans informed on key issues. Democrats Aboard Canada engages with members of Congress on issues affecting Americans living abroad, and they strive to make information available to all their members on topics such as Canada and U.S. tax filing requirements, estate planning, and operating a corporation in Canada as an American. Is that correct, Ed?
Well, just to make it clear, we do hold seminars on, the tax implications of living in Canada as a U.S. citizen, but we don't give individual advice. We're not accountants, we're volunteers. And we do get experts to give webinars and seminars on it. However, we also are part of an organization that's in 50 country committees. In other words, they have about 50 committees just like us in Democrats Abroad Canada, it's Democrats Abroad UK, Democrats Abroad France, and so on. And there's voters in 190 countries, including 3 of my favorites hanging out in the Antarctic.
Fantastic. Thanks for that. So you guys have mobilized yourself worldwide is basically what you're saying, and you obviously must be a force to be reckoned with. Now, let me start off the discussion with this. How many of you know facts that there are over 600,000 Americans living within Canada and are registered, are eligible to vote in the U.S. elections? How many of you actually know that? Over 600,000. And did you also know that in 2016, only 33,000 of the 600,000 plus people actually participated in the 2016 election? What a difference that could have made. And Ed is going to speak to that in a little while. What a difference that could have made in certain states that were razor thin, that had a razor thin margin for victory for Donald Trump, such as Michigan, Ohio, and a few others, Wisconsin, and a few others, just to name a few. Now, the other stunning thing that I find out about the number of Democrats, or not necessarily Democrats, but the number of Americans living here in Canada, is that during 2016 or the year 2000, and this question is to you, maybe you can speak to this for us, please. There was an election that took place in the United States, which ended up having to go to the Supreme Court of the United States in order to determine who officially won that election. It was the year of 2000, and that election was between Al Gore and George Bush. And as a result of a razor thin number of individuals who voted for Bush versus Al Gore, in Florida, President Bush was named as president. That same number of individuals that voted for President Bush, they actually reside in Canada, right here, even in Toronto. There is a larger number of Americans in Toronto that were eligible to vote in that election that did not vote. Can you speak to that situation? Tell us what happened in the year 2000.
Yes. You see, the way it works is Americans vote their voting address while they're living outside the U.S., including Canada, is the last place they lived in the United States. Now, if you're a child born of an American citizen and never even lived in the U.S. ever, then your address is your parents' address. Anyway, there were more people in Toronto whose last address was in Florida than the margin of victory that Bush had in Florida that gave him the presidency. Now, that was just in the Toronto area. In Canada, we would have swamped them. Now, that was before we had the internet as a tool. It was before a number of things. So we couldn't get to the Americans we needed to get to have a president board. But there was a possibility that Canada could have made a president board. We have elected senators from the overseas vote and the outside the U.S. vote. Canada once gave a Democratic candidate for senator in Minnesota his margin of victory. The rest of the world got him caught up. And we in Canada gave him the margin of victory. We have changed elections right from here.
Wow, that's pretty big. I had no idea we had that much influence, or the Americans living in Canada had that much influence or impact. So let's just talk about that for a little bit. So what is your main goal? What is your main focus? And how have you been going about contacting these some 600 and odd thousand Americans that are currently living on Canadian soil?
Well, we tried, I mean, I'm going to use the past tense at this point, very, very hard, and I think very, very effectively. I think we have very good reason to believe we've doubled the vote count from Canada this year over 2016, and maybe more. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we made it to 3 times the amount. But wow. We won't know, and it will be estimated, but we won't know for sure. I know for sure we've doubled. And
so you had 33,000 people participate in 2016, and you think, based on the efforts of the Democrats abroad and the whole, elevated interest in this year's race, that you've moved that number from 33 to 66 or more thousand people that you believe will be participating from Canada?
Yes, I'm very confident of that.
Excellent.
Yes, at least. And remember, these votes go across the U.S. and to every close election for senator, every close election for congressperson, every close election for president, to where, in the electoral college. It goes everywhere. And that's what we do, and that's why we work so hard.
Thank you. Okay, now, let's start talking here. Okay? So what do we got on our hands? We have Ed. We know where Ed stands. It's clearly obvious that where this 2020 presidential elections is concerned, he's fully biased, right? And he has every reason to be, and that should be where he stands. But Jeff, DJ Jeff,
come on.
and,
Sorry.
and Joy, I want to hear your position on what you believe should take place in this 2020 election. Jeff, what is your position on the state of the race for president of the United States?
One thing I want to touch on is what Ed just mentioned. I have a client who is he's a U.S. citizen, married to a Canadian, lives here. He said one of the reasons why he came to Canada is because he wanted to get away from the political divide in the United States. So he never participated in anything electoral in the United States, just because he said after the 2000 election, he was so disheartened he came to Canada and wanted to be out of the American political system. But this year, he registered and he intends to vote just because of what's at stake, because his contention was whatever happens in the United States is going to affect Canada either positively or negatively depending on who the president is. So I commended him for that, because it is imperative that we get a president who is not going to renege on trade contracts that he signed 2 months after and reimpose tariffs on Canadian aluminum after he signed the agreement. So we need a president who can stick by his word and stick to the agreement signed and not change his mind every 2 mornings and 2 seconds depending on where he is and who he's talking to.
Thank you very much, Jeff. So you've laid your platform down. We know where you stand. Joy, do you want to tell us what your opinion is on the state of the presidential race?
Mine is quite similar to Jeff's idea as well. I mean, we have seen the unfolding of the U.S. platform from our current president. The type of untruths, the type of decisions that are made at the whims of a personal, something that he has taken personal that day or that hour or that minute that doesn't sit well with him, and will make decisions that affect him the whole world, not just in his local market in the United States. It's and we've seen so many decisions around that. We've seen, like, look at the COVID situation right now in terms of critical information that should have been, must have been, and would be mandatory to share to the U.S. population, to everyone. They would have been in a much different situation today, rather than the millions of infections plus the death rate of over 230,000, and it's climbing every moment of the day. So the mistruths, the lies, the type of distractions that the confusion that it has created for the world and his own people has been astounding. So we really do need to have a new face, a new president who is fresh, who is credible, who has empathy, who knows what it's like to be having situations in his own family, in the world, because whatever happens in the small universe, which is in our own self, in our own family, also happens in the big universe. So that's the world at large.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So we've heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it for yourself. We've heard from Ed. We know what his position is. We've heard from my in-studio panel guest, celebrity DJ Jeff. And we've heard from our virtual guest, Joy Barnwell. But you haven't heard from me. So here's the deal, okay? Here's the deal. I went far and wide. I've searched far and wide because I believe that fair is fair. And we should have a representative of the Republican Party or a believer in the Republican platform, at least to defend or speak on behalf of Donald Trump and the White House. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anybody willing to risk their lives in order to do so on camera, so I have taken up that mantra. And I will be defending the Honorable
The indefensible
Donald J. Trump today. And we're going to take it to them. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got the facts. They're going to blow these guys away. And I believe that Donald J. Trump should remain as President of the United States. He has earned himself another 4 more years. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this quick commercial break.
Entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with an audience and have strong social media skills? If so, the Gbkm Network would love to invite you to join our team. We're looking for driven, genuine folks who are willing to work hard as an independent broadcaster. If this sounds like you, come join our team. For more information, email your resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, CAREER, @gbkm.fm. It's time to turn your passion into a career.
Do you know who you are? What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alone. Just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I disperse in this verse, no apology. Memorize to keep you from evil theology. For you, the darker hue, you denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. You cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ordinary People Show. I'm your humble guest, host, Jacqueline Dixon. I'm in studio today with my panel guests, and we're ready to get this discussion started. As I'd mentioned to you, we're going to be discussing the impact of the presidential race on Canada. And we've already laid out our platforms individually, and now the discussion gets started. I am defending the Honorable President Donald J. Trump, 45. And what I'm going to start my conversation off is saying this. Donald Trump in 2016 took a weak economy and he built that economy to the point where it has come roaring back. Never before have we seen unemployment rates in the United States of America as low as they are right now for African Americans, Hispanics, and women. The unemployment rate was at a record low before the China virus came into the United States and blew everything out of the water. But I believe that once as it's going, we're turning the corner, come roaring back, president that have never been seen. In people voted 17 candidates who were established in the political arena and had a background of what you would say qualified background, political background. This businessman took his own money and his own time, fought off 17 candidates to become the president of the United States. What do you got to say about that?
Where should we start? Where? And by the way, I mean, you were so good at that.
Thank you.
So forceful that some of the sound broke up towards the end. But anyway, let's start with the economy, because in fact, that's where you started, Mr. Trump.
That's right.
Yes, actually, Barack Obama took over the economy at its lowest point, of course, shepherded by the Republicans. Republicans always screw up the economy. Democrats have to pick it up and put it back together again. And then every once in a while, yes, power does change hands peacefully, and Republicans take over, and then they have a repaired economy, and then they screw it up again. It takes them sometimes 4 years, sometimes 8 years. This time it took them 4 years. Obama, on a month-by-month basis, actually created more jobs per month than Trump has in any time during his presidency. He didn't come up with a bad economy. He was handed a prosperous economy, and all he had to do was just keep doing what Obama had set up. Obama and Biden had set up. And in fact, it could have even been better if the Republicans had cooperated in funding some of the spending that Obama and Biden knew had to be made, but the Republican-controlled Congress, especially the Senate, stopped it. Now, as for the economy now, of course it's really in tatters. Boy, how soft a comment that is. It's a mess. It's awful, and it's going to be awful, even by the time President Biden gets inaugurated in late January, because the Senate under Mitch McConnell is not going to pass a bill, a stimulus bill. It's not going to pass it. So there's going to be lots of people who won't be able to make the rent, buy the food, or go to work because of what's going to happen because of the virus.
Well, you know what? Let me say this much. Joy and DJ Jeff, listen. COVID. That's all you guys ever want to talk about, okay? And we're not focusing on the things that are working right for the country. Right now, within the last 2 days, the GDP has grown at a record speed. And it was just released. The latest job numbers and the latest GDP stats came out, and nobody's talking about that. And what about the fact that under Donald J. Trump's tutelage, African Americans are experiencing the lowest unemployment rate ever in history? What do you got to say about that, Joy and DJ Jeff?
May I preempt you a little bit, please? Here's my analysis. Donald Trump took over a mansion that was being built by Barack Obama. Completed it. All right, let's take, for instance, the Taj Mahal. Let's say Trump was the contractor that took over the building of the Taj Mahal from its inception to when it was completed.